Welcome to Tiny Epic Vikings solo playthrough. I'm going to, of course, play one player. I'm going to add both expansions so you see as many of the mechanics of the game as possible, and I'm going to go ahead and use the Bitter North expansion map. The game will set up, and the enemy ship, chieftain ship, is placed randomly in one of these three locations. So Tabletop Simulator has chosen this top island here. Whatever he chooses, he goes into that dock. He places two settlers here. He does gain control of the end rune, and thus that does go up on the fury of that god. Just before the draft starts, I'm going to place my starting boat in one of the outer lands, outer fjords of the map. I'm going to go ahead and go here on the top one here, hopefully to come down this right side. When you draft in the solo game, we're going to take the top three cards of the deck and just give them straight to the enemy unseen. From here, we're going to draw three cards, and we draft one of these three cards from this group. I think we're going to start with this one. I like that it joins a battle after sailing. The two cards you do not draft from this group go to the enemy's deck, and then we do this until we have the 4 cards required for age 1. I already have a settle action. Let's also take maybe this Valkyrie card. This will allow me to settle. Maybe even to kill a giant pretty early too. We'll see what that is like. It's good to kill giants very early against the solo player. Big fighter or another one to kill. Actually, I think we're going to go with that. We'll go with the other Valkyrie on that one, and our 4th and final pick for this age. A Giant Slayer. Let's actually have a combat one, I think. We're going to go with that guy. Alright, so that's our draft. So all the cards we did not draft went to the enemy. We're going to shuffle that deck and put it next to him, and that's going to be his draw pile. And that's draft. Let's go to my first round. So we are going to begin with our first turn. We are always the first player in the solo game. We're going to start by playing this Valkyrie because I want to gather this food. And so our next move can then be to put 3 people out. And then I'm going to hopefully take out a giant with the 3rd Valkyrie. So we're going to go ahead and just nice easy turn of 3 gather. We want at least 1 food, so that way we can summon 3 settlers in the next turn. And I think I'm just going to go up 1 on everything and have that be enough. With the rune action there, it requires to have 2 Valkyries on the board, and of course I have none, so we will not get our second action. On to the enemy's first turn. When it's the enemy's turn, you simply go to the top card of their deck and reveal it into this action row here. Look at the first action here is the explore action. So when the enemy explores, you look at where the chieftain boat is, and you send the settler amount equal to the settler action, which is 1 in this case. And you send them across the shipping lane into the island on the other side. And so now with boots on the ground here, he is going to gain the sea rune, and I think that's Freya. Yeah, Freya's fury will rise by 1. That's it for the explore action. The next action requires 4 F runes, and at this point in the game, of course, he does not have any, and so he does not get a second action. It is now our turn. For my turn, I'm going to take this card right here and place it into our action row. We are going to sail 3. Now I'm hoping to get an N island so we can trigger our second ability, and so we're going to sail 3 to 1, 2, and with our 3rd, we're going to sail right into this port here. And we are going to take over this village. That does require us to pay 1 iron or ore to conquer that village. Now that I'm there, I'm going to spend 3 food and put all 3 settlers onto this island here. With boots on the ground, I do now have control of this island, so I'm going to take the N rune and of course increase the fury of that god. For the second portion of my turn, now that I have 2 N runes, I can trigger the second action. I have the N rune I just took over, and then the N rune that comes from this Valkyrie card, which is a wild. So I'm allowed to enter battle. Now I'm after resources more than anything, so I'm going to go ahead and take this favor card here, so I can get 2 food and 2 lumber. I do get the token associated with it regardless of the result of the battle, and of course I do have to pay 1 ore in order to enter the battle. Now when you start a battle, the enemy immediately automatically joins. And so when he joins, he's going to take the top card and he's going to put it right here in his battle row. Now the battle row is different than his action row because he's always going to take actions equal to the age, and that's 4 in this case. But his battle row is just the cards that he uses for battle, and they don't count towards that limit. So we're simply going to reveal this card, and it's 2 plus C. So he's got 1, 2, 3 C runes, so that's 5 against our 9, so we do win the battle. We're going to take this card, put it into our victory row there. We do get 2 food and 2 lumber, and that completes our victory stuff that we had to do. Now, as far as what he gets when he is defeated, first off, the Sea God is the one that gets Fury. Now, he does not perform this action. Instead, he performs the sea that's on his chart. And if you read that, you can see he's going to add the leftmost Valkyrie to the mat. So he's going to take this leftmost Valkyrie and place it wherever his chieftain boat is located. And then if there is a giant there, it is automatically defeated. This is the case anytime he puts a Valkyrie into an island. We're then going to take these 2 settlers and put them back to the map, because anytime he defeats a giant, all settlers on that island are defeated. The second part of his death or his benefit for being defeated is he gets a Valkyrie equal to the card's rune. So technically this Valkyrie would also enter the board. Now there's a rule though, he will never have 2 Valkyries in one location, and so due to that limitation he actually does not get his second Valkyrie on the board. And with that ends my turn. Let's go to his second. Let's take a look at the enemy's next plate. We're going to go ahead and reveal this card. He's going to gather 2. So when he gathers, we go up our harvest. We're going to go up to his clan board, and he's going to, from top to bottom, he's going to gain 1 of each for each gather action. So we're going to gather, and that means this first action here means he's going to take his chieftain boat and and kick one of my boats out, the closest one. And I only have 1, so this gets kicked out, and the boat now moves to here. So that was that action. The second action here is he's going to place a settler wherever his boat is. And so he's going to take a settler from his mat and add it to the board. Now that does now make it 2, it's 3 to 3 in influence, but since I already own the rune, I keep it. But this boat does count for 2 influence, and so it's tied right now for that. Since it's only a gather 2, those are the only 2 that it's moved. If he had a gather 3, then it would be the ore, and if it was a gather 4, he'd go back and do a lumber. But we'll get to all the other icons when we get there. Now we look at his second action on the card, and you'll notice that he's got 2 sea runes to activate it. He has those 2 seas. He actually has 3, because you do count the cards in the battle row towards cards in the action. And so he's got 3, 1 from the island and 2 from cards. So he's got plenty to activate it. Now, when he activates his second ability, he only performs actions if they match one of these 4 basic actions: the explore, sail, harvest, or build. If it's not any of those 4 actions, then instead he performs the action that matches the board. So it's an N card, and so he's going to go up here and do the N action, which is to gain 3 wood. And so we're going to do exactly that. We're going to go 1, nothing happens. 2, this symbol here means he's going to add to the fury of the gods that he has the most island ruins of. And so in this case, with C and N being both tied, they both are going to go up 1. And then of course the third movement of the lumber will do the exact same. So again, C and N will each go up 1 more space. With that, that completes his action, and it's on to our third turn. For my third turn, we are going to defeat a giant. The sooner you can do this, the better for sure. So we have a Valkyrie card. So we're going to slay a giant, which allows us to slay giants without using a Valkyrie figure. And so up here, I do have the 3 settlers required. Normally, it would be 1 Valkyrie and 3 settlers in order to defeat a giant. But with the Valkyrie card played, all I have to do is pay these 3 settlers, and the Valkyrie card acts as the Valkyrie in the scene. And so I defeat this giant here. When giants are defeated, you get to raise the fury of the one matching the card. Being that it's a wild, I get to choose, and since we already have an N location, we'll go ahead and take the N. Now here's the thing, I just did that, but then of course he now owns the N island, because I now have no influence on the island and he has 3. And so he's taken that from me, and that raises the fury of that god again. But that is the end of that turn, because once you battle, it's considered a battle, and once you're battled, you are done. And so I do not get to do the bottom action, but we did get ourselves a giant. Let's take a look at the enemy's next action. Looks like it's an Explore 2. So as we've seen already, in an Explore 2, he's going to go from his chieftain boat and send 2 into, like across borders to neighboring islands. Now, we have an issue here because he's here and he's actually got 2 neighboring islands. He could go up to the F or down to the C. Now, the game says when there's more than 2 or more options for any other action except for deploy, you look at how many cards he's totally played here, and that's 4. If it's even, you go to the right, and if it's odd, you go to the left. So because the 2 options here are F and C, and it looks like the C, I'm going to go by the C rune. The C rune looks a little more right than the F rune, so we're going to go ahead and say that he goes into this island here by going to the rightmost location. And now that he's got boots on the ground, he does gain control of that island, and thus the fury of C goes up. The second part of his action is to sail. If he's got an N, he's got plenty. So he's going to sail 2. Now that's 2 plus the number associated with his clan is 1 more. So he's going to sail 3 towards F, since that is the card. That makes it very simple. He only needs 1 step to get there. That is the closest F up here. And then he deploys 2 settlers. So he's going to put 2 settlers on here, which means he now has boots on the ground there. He's gained this, and F gains his first fury. For our final action of Age 1, it's a very simple play. We only have 1 more card, and that is this one of Sail 3. Now we're going to try to get ends if we can, so I think what we want to do is going to sail 1, 2, and 3. We're going to sail into this position here. I don't want to raid because I want to save our ore for the fight coming up. But now that we're there, we're going to spend 2 food and settle with 2 pieces. Now with that, that means we have a total of 4 influence versus his 2 influence. So we do gain control of the N rune. So that fury goes up of that deity. With that finished, we do have 2 F runes. We got 1 here, and then we have 2 wilds with our 2 Valkyries. And so we have enough to go into battle. So I am going to pay the ore. We are going to enter battle, and I think I want this one up here this time because it looks like the N rune's going to be in the lead for most of the game. So I figured if we can get that N rune for later, that'd be good because we already have 1 here. So we are going to enter battle. Alright, let's resolve a battle. We know how it's done. He takes the top card, puts it into the next slot of his battle row, and let's compare our numbers. We have 9 for us, and oh, he didn't. Alright. Well, he doesn't have to pay his iron at all, but he gets a 10, and so he's actually going to win this battle. Let's go ahead and take care of the winner first. And so with the F rune right there. Actually, he gets this favor card. So let's move that to his victory pile there. He does get the food and the 2 ore associated with the card. So first off, that space means he's going to go up in the sea deity because of the simple fact that that is the one with the most. 2 ore means he's going to do it again for the first movement. And the second movement means he's going to start a battle. So when he starts a battle, he takes the top card of his deck and he simply places it right here face down. This does technically give me a chance to join, but I won't be able to, and we'll explain that in a second. Now, which favor card he fights over is based on the quadrant where his boat is located. So if you think about this split into 4 parts, his boat is to the upper right, and so he takes the upper right favor card that's available. This will give him the token associated with it. Now that's his, for winning, that's all he's received. Let's do my losing part of it. I, of course, raise the fury of the sea god, and then I get the benefit of that, which is to move a settler from my clan mat to an island of my choice. I'm going to choose this F island right here and take this rune and raise the fury of Odin here. With that done, the other thing I get when I lose a battle is I get a Valkyrie based on the color, based on the rune on the card. So I get the Sea Valkyrie, and I'm also going to place it on this island here, hopefully to take over that giant in the near future. We do have to resolve his attack now. Now I cannot join it because it's the end of my turn, and so we need to resolve this attack before the turn ends. Now, because I can't join it, he's going to fight one of the invaders, and so we're going to flip that one as a 3 plus N, so that's just 4. What does he flip over? He flips over an 8 plus the amount of giants he has is 1, so 9. So he does win this battle as well. So we're going to give him the favor card. He's going to go up 2 wood. This space right here means the ship is going to get displaced. We've seen that earlier. And so my ship goes here, his ship comes here. It is now 4 to 2, so I lose the N rune to him, and thus N goes up. The 2 ore he can't gain. Anytime they're at their max number, they can't gain that resource anymore, and so that's just going to get lost. So that's his winning condition. Losing from the invaders simply raises the N by 1. Now that resolves the battle. However, I need to finish my turn, so if we go back to my turn very quickly here, I want to dedicate this building here, and I want to build. I do still have a settler, I do have settlers on that island, so I'm going to spend 5 wood, and I want to put a temple here, and that would now make it 6 to 4 as far as influence, and I take that N back. So hopefully that temple located in that island will help me hold it for the remainder of the game. My turn is officially done. Let's go to his final turn of Age 1. Alright, let's see what he's going to do for his final action of Age 1. He has a build action. Now this is the first we've seen this. So it's a very simple action. We take the leftmost boat from his board and simply place it where his chieftain boat is. This does count towards 4 influence, so this is 2, 4, 6 against 6, so I still do keep the island rune, but that boat it stays there, but the chieftain boat moves around a little bit more. Going to his second action, that is an N. He's got many, he's got 3 total, but he cannot perform that collect action. That is not one of these 4 basic actions, and because of that, he must go up here to do this action instead. Now, before this, I just realized something I forgot. At the end of my last turn, these were maxed out, and whenever that's the case, they go back to 0 at the end of whatever turn that occurred on, and we lose the associated resource. So because wood and ore went to 0, I would lose a wood and an ore, but I'm at 0 on all of them, so it does not matter in this case. Now back to the turn at hand, we do now perform this 3 wood action because of the fact that this is, it's a sea card. We're going to perform the sea action, Add the leftmost enemy Valkyrie to the map where his boat is. Oh, that's fine. Oh, no, it's actually very good for us. Because, again, as we stated earlier, he is not allowed to have 2 Valkyries in the same island. And so he does not place that. So since he's not allowed to place a Valkyrie, he places a settler instead. And that now puts him over the influence line. He does gain the N rune from me. And thus Fury goes up. And that completes Age 1. The cleanup phase is pretty straightforward. We're going to take all the Viking cards and we're going to put them into the discard pile. The only other step there is to take is to check the giant's control. So every island that has a giant on it, that god is actually going to lose a Fury. And so you'll notice that both C islands have giants, and then both F islands have it, but not N's. So that would mean F loses 2, and C loses 2. Just bringing out the dominance of the blue N ruin god over there. Alright, welcome to Age 2. I did the drafting off screen. It's the same process. Give him 3 cards unseen, and then draft out of 3 cards 5 times, giving him the remainder 2 every time. And that makes his deck up. Here we go. We have a nice plan here to kill another giant as of round 2. So let's go ahead and execute this plan. We're going to start with this Viking here, allowing us to gather 3. With those 3, I do want to take food, I believe, and I'm going to take all of it in food. Now, on top of that, I do have this Valkyrie open, which allows us to take iron for free, and then I have this temple built, which allows us to take another resource of our choice, and I'm going to take lumber for that one. So that's our first action. Our second action, with an F rune, which we do have from our island runes, I get to march 1 unit, and I'm going to take 1 unit out of this, which I don't have control of anymore anyway. I'm going to move it into this island here. And now that I have a Valkyrie and 2 settlers, I can play next round. I can play this Giant Slayer card right here and kill that giant, because it will only require 2 settlers. But let's see what the enemy does first. Well, let's take a look at what he does for round 2 here. Looks like he's going to sail 2 plus 1 space, so 3 spaces towards C. Well, he only needs 1 to get to the closest sea island, and so he moves that 1 space. And because of that card, he's going to put 2 settlers onto this island that has no change in ownership. He already owned that island. So we take a look at the second action. He needs 2 F runes. He has 1. He doesn't have another, but he does have a token, and anytime he can't fulfill a requirement, he uses them. So I'm going to go ahead and use that token there, and so he's going to trigger the C action on his board, since he cannot do the fight action down below. That would mean he's now going to add the leftmost Valkyrie onto the map, onto where his boat is located. So this Valkyrie goes right here, and because there's a giant on that location, it is immediately defeated, and every settler in that island must be defeated as well. And so that leaves him still on the island with the Valkyrie, but he's now got another giant under his point stash up there. And that finishes his turn out. Let's go to my second turn. Well, I've already announced what we're doing on our turn here, so we're going to go play our Giant Slayer here. Now, they allow us to slay giants for the cost of 1 Valkyrie and 2 settlers instead of the 3rd settler. And that's perfect for us to stay up with the enemy who's got 2 giants killed here. I have a Valkyrie and 2 settlers on this island, and so we are going to defeat this giant by discarding or returning these 2 settlers back to our board. That is our entire turn, as it counts. That does count as the entire turn. And often, I'm just glad that we're keeping our giants the same. You can really get crushed if you let the AI get all of the giants. On to his second turn. Let's reveal his second card for Age 2. and looks like he's going to explore 2. So he has 2 options to explore. He can go north or he can go east. And again, when he has 2 options to do an action, we look at how many cards are played. Being that it's 2 cards played, he's going to choose the rightmost answer, which means he's going to go over here and place 2 settlers into this island over here. That does not change possession, as my 2 equal his 2 now in the zone. His second action is 3 ends. He's got 1, 2 from the islands, and he has none from his cards with no extra tokens from the favor tokens, so he actually cannot perform a second action. His turn is done. Alright, we got a pretty straightforward turn here. We are going to gather 3. Now let's not forget that because of my Valkyrie on the board, I do get an ore every time I harvest, and I get another resource of my choice because of the temple that's on the board. So technically this is a harvest 4. I'm going to take it all in lumber. I'm going to do that because the second part of this action card requires 2 end runes. I don't have any, but I do have these 2 tokens here, and I'm going to turn these in to count as those 2 ends to give me 3 food. That gives me a nice stockpile of resources for the rest of the age. Let's take a look at what he's going to do for his third action of age 2. Looks like he's going to sail 2. Now plus the 1 up from his board, he's going to sail 3 towards the next sea island. Now he's already at a sea island, which means he goes for the other sea island, which is only a 2-step sail. So he is now at that island. Once there, he's going to summon or deploy 2 of his settlers onto this island. There is no change of ownership, as I wasn't there at all anyway, and he's already got that rune. The second action on his card requires 2 Fs. He has it with the island up there and the card here. So since he cannot collect, it's not one of the 4 basic actions, he goes to the board up here, which is the sea. And that is to add the leftmost Valkyrie to where he's at. Oh, that's bad for us. So he's going to add this here. That's going to give him the 3rd giant. And all 4 of these settlers will be defeated and returned to his board. But now he's 1 up on us in giants. So I really hope I can get that other giant before him. Because if it's 4-2 at the end, that's hard to beat. But that finishes his turn. Oh, and then... oh. I have not been doing this, but when giants are defeated, you're supposed to add to the fury of the gods based on the card. I have not been doing that, so I'm going to do it now, but just know that we are 4 fury off on the gods based on previous plays. Alright, for our 4th action, we're going to do a sail, sail 2. Our boat currently is right here. We're going to go 1 into this fjord and 2 into this port with a village, spending the 2 ore to pillage that or raid that. With that done, I'm going to spend 2 of my food to deploy 2 settlers onto this island. This does currently put us over his influence since we have 2, 3, 4 over his 2. So I will take the F rune from him and increase the fury of Odin by 1. With that done, our second action is to swap, though I don't want to swap because I do want to build next round, so I'm going to just ignore that second action. It is now his turn. Let's take a look at his 4th action for age 2. He's going to sail 3 plus 1 or 4 towards a sea. He's already at the sea. Oh, so he simply goes back to the other sea. This time he's going to deploy 3 settlers into this island. No change of control, no conquering of my men or anything like that, so that is done. His second action, if he has an end rune, which he does from the islands, is to explore 1. So he's going to take this one guy. He could go north, he could go east, so which way does he choose? Well, we have 4 cards played, that's even, so it's the rightmost option, so we're going to go this direction. That now puts 3-2 as far as influence, so this F rune goes to him, and Odin's fury rises. For my final action of age 2, we're going to play this card here and construct. We're going to keep it simple here. We're just going to spend 2 wood and we are going to build a boat. Now I do have a settler on this island and I want a ship over here on the left so I have a little more flexibility. And so I'm going to place it right here in that fjord. With that, our second action, as long as we have an F rune, which we have plenty, 2 in the line and 1 in from the island, is we get 2 lumber back. So we just get that wood straight back that we spent, and that, and oh, and I want to spend this at the end of our turn. I want to go ahead and put it right here and go ahead and explore 2. I want to take this boat here and go 1 and 2 and just move down a little bit. It's on the same island technically, but I want to move down for better flexibility later. But I want to then spend 2 food and put 2 more settlers into this zone with the giant. So I'm hoping during the draft of age 3 we get a Valkyrie, and so I can kill that giant with just 1 play. Seeing how we do go first, hopefully I can get that giant before he does. Let's see what he's going to do for his final action of age 2. Okay, so he's got a shaman card. He needs a C to do the first action, which he does. Now, other than the 4 basic action, this is the other action from the expansion he does do, and that is to increase the fury of one of the gods. And in this case, he does have the C to activate it, and it's a wild god. So when it's a wild or he chooses the god where his boat's at. And so this a C is where the boat's located, and so he's going to increase the fury of that guy by 1. Looking at the second action is a double F. He does have 2 Fs with an island there and a card here. And but this is not a basic action. So because it's not a basic action, he goes up here and does an N action. Since the card is an N, he's going to gain 3 lumber. 1 replaces my boat, so my boat's going to get kicked out to there. And he's going to go here. Again, this boat was closer, but it wasn't docked. Second wood goes here, and third goes here. And C and N are both tied, so we're going to go up here and there on the 2 furies of those 2 gods. With that complete, that finishes the age. For the cleanup of age 2, we simply discard all cards back into the discard pile. And with that, we look at where the giants are. So we only have 1 giant left on the board. It is in an F island, and so that fury goes down by 1. We're on to the draft for age 3, and I'm hoping for a Valkyrie. The draft went pretty well for me. I did find a Valkyrie. I actually got 2 through the draft, but I took only 1. And I got some of the other things I'm looking to do. I got some cards for that as well. But let's start off first turn. Let's get it done. I've never won a game where the enemy had more giants than I have, so I want to make sure at least we're equal. So I'm going to play this Valkyrie card and defeat this giant. I do not need a Valkyrie in the area because I'm playing a Valkyrie card. I do need to spend 3 settlers, however. So these 3 settlers have been defeated. But I did also defeat the giant. And because this is a wild card I played, a wild rune I get to choose, and let's just go ahead and lean into keeping the blue the highest as possible. So we're going to add a rune to there. Do I lose control? Nope, we still have... Oh no, I do lose control of the F rune because I now have less... they've got 4 influence. And I've only got 1, and so the F will go up. All right, let's take a look at what the enemy will do on the first action of age 3. He's going to harvest 3. So we go up to the board here. We have 1 from the lumber, and that's going to increase... Oh, all 3 of them. They're all tied. So all 3 are going to go up by 1. Second harvest brings it to this area here. So that means he's going to build a temple in the place he has the most settlers. And that would be this zone right here, this F zone on the bottom. Oh, he's got equal amount of settlers here. So in the case of a tie, I do get to choose. And being that F is the worst of the favor of the gods or the fury, I'm going to put it here. Now when he puts a temple down, we get to half rounded up of his settlers return to the board. And so we're going to return 2 back to the board. That does not change ownership. He still has more influence there. The third movement does move the ore to that space, which means all Furies again are going to raise by 1. The second part of the card is straightforward. He does have a sea rune, and thus he's going to explore 1. So his boat is currently here. He's going to go over the sea route with the settler here and put his settler here. That does not change any ownership and does not fight at all, so that's all that occurs, and he is done with his turn. Our second action, we're going to use this guy right here. So we want to take over as many runes now. Now that we have equal giants, we're trying to take over lands. So we're going to go ahead and sail 2. We're going to go 1 and 2. We're going to dock right there. We are going to pay 2 food to deploy 2 settlers onto that land. We do now have control, so I will take this from the enemy and increase the fury of that god by 1. Now the second action here is the fact if we own a giant, if we've defeated a giant, and we've defeated 3, then he can enter battle, and I want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and enter battle with him, and we are going to battle for, I really want 2 pieces of wood so we can build a temple. So I think I want to battle for this. No, I need the metal for fighting more. I'm going to go here. All right, so we're going to take this one because I want the lumber to build the last temple to take over another island, and I want the metal to be able to fight again with her. And so we're going to take that token and we're going to start the battle. So let's see how he deals with the battle. We're going to draw a card into his battle row. We know that we have 8 plus the amount of giants we have, which is 3 more, so that's 11. He's bringing 6 plus his Fs. Oh no, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's only got 10. And again, we have 8, 9, 10, 11. We barely scraped out a win there. So with that win, we get 2 wood and 2 ore. The 2, both of which is what I really wanted. Him losing, Fury of F goes up twice because it is a shaman. And he gets the ability here, which is to add 2 settlers wherever his boat is. That is over here right now. That changes nothing except for the fact that my settler has been defeated. After that, he gets an F Valkyrie, matching again the card, and it has to go where the boat is located. And that is everything. Now let's go to his turn. Let's take a look at his second action for the age. He's going to first explore 1. That lets, well, he's got 2 options because he can explore to this island here through land, or this island here. And with 3 cards, he's going to favor the leftmost one. So he's going to go to this island here where he already has some people. His secondary action is requiring an F. He's definitely got plenty. So he's going to sail 3 towards an N island. He only needs 1. So he's going to kick this boat out, move to here. And then he's going to, he can't summon, or he can't deploy from his board. So instead, he takes 2 settlers from places he's got the most. And so that would be here. He's got 4. And we have to do it again. He's got 3 in both of these. And so he chooses the one that we have the least, or we have the least influence at. And we have 0 in both locations. And so it's because it's a tie again, we get to choose. And I think because the sea ruin is a little behind, or a little higher, I'm going to move it over to here. Either way, we do one of our settlers do get defeated, and we've lost the control of this rune back to him, and that fury rises, and that's his turn. All right, we're going to go ahead and use this 7 wood that we have in the game, and we're going to build our final temple. Using all 7 wood, and that is going to be placed right here. We're going to try to keep this N, or get this N under our control. We don't have it now because it'd be 4 plus 1 or 5 against 2, 3, 4, 5, so we don't take anything back. But now it should be easier to get it a little bit later. The second action here is if we've conquered a giant, which we have, we get to move a giant, but there are no more giants on the board. And so that ends our turn. Let's take a look at what he's going to do for his third action of this round. He's going to construct. So he's going to take the leftmost boat, put it where his, oh darn it, put it where his boat is. That's going to add 2 more influence to that island. The other action here is a collect. He can't. That is not one of the basic 4, so we're going to go to the C on the board, which is a Valkyrie. So the leftmost Valkyrie goes into this land, and it doesn't have one there, so that means he does get to do that. Oh, that's going to make that very difficult to take over. For our fourth action of age 3, we need some resources to finish out the rest of our age here. So we're going to play this one that allows us to harvest 3. Now, since we can harvest 3, I want to take at least 2 iron. Well, actually, let's take care of the ones we already get. We know we get 1 iron here. We get 1 food from that. And then we get 2 of our other choice. So really, we're harvesting then 5 more. I want at least an iron there. And let's go ahead and then take the other 3 as food, because we have 4 settlers up there ready to come in. Now I do qualify, I can qualify for this 3 wood, which I want to do because I'm going to use this token plus that wild card for the 2 ends, so I can get 3 wood on top of that. And that is our turn, and we're ready to go for the rest of the age. His fourth action, let's see what it's going to be here. Looks like he's going to march 1. Now he has no people on his board, so he's going to take from the island where is the most of. Marching means he can go either down or up to those 2 areas, because either way he goes to that C. So we're going to say this is left and this is right, and he has 5 cards, which means he's going to favor the left. So they're going into this island. The one with the most settlers is actually the N next to it. So this is going to move to here, and by doing that, I still don't have a control. 2, 4, 6, 8. Nope, I still don't have control over that. So nothing changes as far as control. Then, does he have 4 N ruins? He's got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yes, he does actually activate this. Now that is not a basic action, so he does the F action, which is to add 2 settlers to his current island, which means this comes back. And then that is the island with the most settlers, so this goes here, and because of that, this gets defeated, so we lose that settler back to our mat as well. And that finishes his turn. Alright, our turn is going to be quite important. We got to get some influence spread out here. So we're going to play this one with 3 sail. Now we're going to take this one ship here, go 1, and for 2, we're going to take this port here. That is going to allow us to spend the 3 ore to pillage that village. And now that is, to raid that village, now that's in our control there. Once here, we are going to spend 3 food, and we're going to put them all into this zone here. Now that does allow us now to 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 to his 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we still don't have that quite yet. However, the next part of our action I'm going to ignore. I don't need to switch resources out. I don't think I do, at least. No, I don't need to switch any resources out. And so we're going to end our turn by exploring again with this guy here. So he is going to go here, bumping the ship out. Now when a ship gets bumped, it goes on back onto the board. And so we're going to spend 1 to move into there. And I don't need to, but I'm going to go ahead and spend this anyway just to get a little couple extra influence there. But I have taken over this N ruin now. And so that fury goes up, and hopefully we can swing the point 1 more. In my last play, we can get a couple more points. Let's see what his 5th action is for age 3. It is another march. So he's wherever his boat is. So again, he can go up to here or down to here. We're going to say left is F and right is C. It is an even number of cards, so he's going to go to the right, and so that's down here. He has no settlers on his board, so he has to take from where he has the most of, and this is what I was hoping would occur, is that some would leave this zone. And so we've got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we are tied at the moment. I need a few more leaving. I need a few more to leave, and then we're good to go. This second action, he does have a giant defeated, so he gets his action. That's not a basic action, so we have to perform the N, and that is triple wood. And that's going to take him to here, and that means his boat, oh, he's going to actually place this one. I was actually hoping he'd move away, but I guess I didn't set that up well. So he puts his boat right there, displacing mine. That gets rid of force that I had there, and that's going to make it hard to take it over. And then that's it. Oh, and I noticed that this is the end, and this was at the end. This was probably at the end a long time ago, and I forgot to bring that back down. So I lose a wood and a food. I don't know when I should have lost it, probably a long time ago. Hopefully that didn't matter too much. Our final turn's pretty straightforward. We're going to battle. I'm going to try to get this last 2 runes here under our control, so we can get those extra points at the end. We do have to spend an iron to get this one into battle, but it's going to be a strength of 10. Oops, I have not won yet. Let's put that here. And let's see how our enemy reacts to this. So he's going to draw a random card there, and he's got a strength of 1 plus N's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 6 strength against my 10, so I do win. I'm going to take that with 2 food and 1 wood. And that completes that. Now he did lose, so the N rage goes up. The N ability triggers, that's 3 wood. So he's going to de-dock one of my ships. The only ship not docked is this, or is docked is this one. So he's going to come back over here. Does that change ownership? That's 2, 4, 5 to 4, 5, 6. It does not change ownership, and actually what that does is it reduces over here 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, so I don't get that N back, and that's a shame. So I keep this N, and I don't gain the other N with that move. But that's only 1 wood. Second lumber there, third lumber here, which means C and F both go up 1 step because of the island ruins he owns. Last step is this is an N card. There are no N Valkyrie on the board, so he does not gain any Valkyrie in that position. Alright, let's see the enemy's final turn for the age. And he is oh no, this is the one I was fearing. He's going to harvest 3. Okay, so here we go. First one makes the C and the F rise up each. That's done. The food one puts a settler where his ship is at. He's got to take from the one he's got the most. That would be both this one and this one, and I have least influence here, and so he's going to take that and move that here. 2, 4, 6 to 4, 6. So I still have control barely. Then he goes to the ore. This is the one I was fearing because he is going to start a battle, and so this battle card goes here. Based on the position of the ship, he's going to choose the top card up here and gain this token. Now that was 3 harvests so far. He does have the 2 harvests from his board, so he gains another food and another lumber. The food gives him a C and an F bump of the deities, and now the wood bump let him displace another one of my docked ships. I actually don't have any more docked ships, so that is ignored. All we have to do now is resolve, we have to resolve his second action here, and that is the F. He does, of course, have one, so it is a explore 1. He only has 1 direction to go with it, and that's down here. The place with the most settlers, however, is the one I was hoping he'd eventually use, and that's this one, and that comes down here. With that done now, we have 1, 2, 3, and 6. 2, 6. Nope, it wasn't enough. Oh, I'm sorry, this is 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 2, 4, 6. I now own that end. That's what I was hoping would happen. Things would move away and get us that control of that rune. Now I have to do, that is the end of the turn, but we have to resolve the battle. We have no chance of getting into it, so he's going to fight the invaders. Since we cannot join, let's go ahead and resolve this with the invaders over here. So the invaders are going to come in with 4, just 4 strength, and he's bringing 9. He's plus the 2 more from the card, so he's actually coming with 11. So that's 11 strength, so he does win this favor card, which bumps his wood up, which he cannot do because it's maxed. He bumps his food up, and that means he's going to build a temple where he has the most settlers. He's got 2 here, 2 there, 3 down here. And so this is where he puts this temple right there. And because of that, 2 of these settlers are returned to the mat. That is done there, and because of the loss, F needs to go up because of the invaders card. With that, that ends the game, and we are now going into final scoring. Alright, I've moved everything into one screen so we can see for final scoring. These are the God ruins in order from left to right, from highest to lowest. N was the highest, F was lowest. My stuff's all here on the left, and then the enemies is all right here on the right side. So let's go ahead and start with the island runes. I do have the best 2 for 12 points, so we'll get that out of there. Don't need green. So I have the 12 points for having the 2, 6 island runes. He has got the other 4, however. That means he's got 2 5s and 2 4s for a total of 18, and that puts him right there. Looking at favor cards, I did get 2 highest and 2 mediums in there, so that means it's going to be 2 5s and 2 4s for another 18 points. 18 and 12 brings me to 30. For him, he has 2 blues, so the 2 highest for 10, and then the 2 lowest for 6. So he's got 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 34. So he's ahead by 4 going into giants. Now giants, it all depends on who got the high ones, who's got the low ones. I don't have either the high or the low, so maybe he's got both. He does. 10 is the highest, 6 is the lowest of the giants, and he's got them both. But I think he's ahead enough to make this win. But anyway, let's find out. We got 9 and 7 is 16, and 8 is 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. So about 34 plus 20. That'd be 64. 34 plus 20 is 54. That puts me right here. That's 54 points. Red has got 18 and 6, so that's 24 for him. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 20 more from that is 58. So he does pull out the win by a mere 5 points. So hopefully that gives you enough overview of how the game is played solo, with or without the expansion. I just put the expansion in so you see as many rules as possible. Please let me know if you want to see more of these, or if you saw any mistakes. Hopefully I caught them in the edit. But I hope you enjoyed that, and enjoy gaming.